Good evening, friends of YouTube in the Sports Card Wild West Marketplace. It is Sunday night, 7/25/21. Sports Cards Daily is live, and the mic is open. Hope you guys had a great weekend. I had a really good weekend myself. Weather in the DC area was pretty pleasant. A little humidity today, but for the most part, a great weekend. Hobby news. A lot of great stuff going on in the hobby. I'll wait a little bit for some people to get in here. We can start chatting. Definitely going to have open mic night tonight. So if anybody would like to join, I'd love to have you join. Tell us your hobby story, ask questions, share what's going on, whatever it might be. Would love to hear from people in the hobby. I will say I got into a little bit of a Twitter flame war today with a repacker. And I did invite him and his supporters to the show tonight if they'd like to come defend their position on repacking. And I do mean that honestly and sincerely. I'd always welcome a debate when it comes to differences of opinions in the hobby. I know a lot of people don't like to debate. They just like to scream and yell and whine and then go their own way and think they're right. But, I'm always open for open debate. Good day, Global Sports. Great to see you. In fact, just to give you a little background, because I will be honest, the repacking thing really bothers me. It has bothered me, I think, since the beginning. And let me just give you a little history. I got back into sports cards about 6 years ago, and I was victim of several repacks back in the day. And then I realized what was going on. I saw some that were complete scams. And here's my simple comment on repacking. I know that there are some repacks that you could argue are legit and fair. I will acknowledge that. There are some. But any one of them is bad. Because the fact that they exist, they give a poor example to others that they can do the same thing. And I'll give you my perfect example of this. Right now in the hobby, the market is fluctuating. Card prices are up and down. I don't want to say correction or crash, but things are changing. So it's very easy to pass trash in repack products, right? It's very easy to put stuff in a repack product and put a chase card in it and have people go up to the chase card and ignore the fact I'm getting rid of crap I don't want, right? I mean, here's what I will say to any repacker. Why are you doing it? Give me the reason why you're making a repack. Think about this. The only answer why is because they're profiting off of it, which their second defense, what they'll say is, man, why are you so against me making a hustle in the hobby? Why are you against me making money in the hobby? And this is why I said before, when you start to justify your business in the hobby, you can do anything you want, right? Well, it's my hobby. My kids I pay for my kids' food or whatever because of my repack product. I got a business going on. Well, then your whole business is based on scamming, taking advantage of people, right? And I'll point this out in a minute here. Let me read a few comments. Got one comment coming in. Oh, Ziggy, I'm looking at the 2020 football hobby box to open with the kids and still get great value resale. What are your thoughts on Select? That's a great question. So I don't know, man. For the kids, the problem I have with Select is I'm just looking at Select. There's so much Select out there. Remember 6 months ago, people were talking about how Select was the hobby product. It was a hobby exclusive. It's going to have value. Well, Panini just pooped on that, right? I do think it's probably more affordable than Prism and probably overall holds more value than, say, a Mosaic or an Optic. So, yeah, I probably would go with that box. I probably would go with Select. You get more color in Select. I think I'm not a fan at all of Mosaic. I really think Mosaic's a bust product. It's just my opinion. But again, best case, Mosaic's fourth, right? But 10 years from now, do you want a Mosaic rookie? No, I don't think you do. So that'd be my comments. I would also look at maybe, I guess I'd go with it's fun for kids because there's a lot of color in it, right? And there's a lot of value and a lot of screaming. Oh, that's awesome. And there are some good hits. So I'd probably say Select. And I do think prices will come down. What's the goal? Sorry, late, but bidding and winning eBay auctions. It's awesome, man. Congratulations, Tom. No, I was just starting out doing a little complaining. Let me go ahead. I'll share my screen again. Please welcome into the chat. I'd love to have somebody join if you're out there and want to join the show. So again, I'm gonna go here to Twitter. Here's the gentleman I'm talking about, Ryan. Now I'll be honest, I don't know Ryan at all. Ryan Cards LLC. Now my understanding is I've heard from people say Ryan's got a really good repack product. Ziggy, have you checked out Ryan's? It's not like everybody else's. I have not checked out Ryan's. And again, what I'll say is I don't care if Ryan's is legit. He shouldn't be doing it. Ryan, you're fucking lazy, dude. If you've got cards to sell, be a man and sell them on a platform. Okay. But to stick them in a repack product where you put a ceiling and a floor, and again, what I'll say is I got in this whole Twitter banter, and boy, if you should, I would share the responses, but there's just too many to go through. First thing I think is funny is people accuse me of being a breaker because my Twitter handle is Ziggy's Breaks, which I think is not even important. But if I'm a breaker or not, repacks still suck. But let me just quickly say I'm not a breaker. I created Ziggy's Breaks back when I was doing breaks personally with my kids and friends and family, which is the way breaks used to be done. They used to be done friendly and with friends. You didn't try to rape everybody in a break. Today, 2021, man, it's rape anybody you can for as much money as you can in the hobby, and it's okay because you're just making money, so who cares, right? I think that's kind of what disgusts me about some of the investors in the hobby is that they justify anything. Hey, I'm making money, man. I'm paying for my kids' tuition, whatever it is. So this grifter, and I'm going to say that, this grifter here, Ryan, right? Look, Ryan has 11,000 followers. Okay, he has a Patreon channel. This is my favorite, right? Because again, Ryan, if you want to get access to his repacks, you got to be part of the Patreon channel. So you get early access. Let me say, Ryan, and again, people defending me tell me, Ryan sells out in 50 minutes. Of course he does. Dude, I can have friends sell me out in 50 minutes and make it look like I've got a product. There's nothing that Ryan does that I must say is good. Ryan, you're a scammer. And the reason I call you a scammer is because if I have two cards, let's say I have a $1,000 card and I have a $50 card, the combined value is $1,050. But if I sell them in two $750 boxes, because one of them's going to have value in it and one of them is not, I'm scamming you. I am finding a way to find value that isn't in the product. You see what I'm saying? Like if you totaled up all of Ryan's repacks, they don't equal the amount of money he collects. Why? Because he's doing it for freaking profit. I understand that. But here's what's even sneakier about that. They probably don't even reach the comps because comps have been changing so much and they've been declining. So he's giving you a value of, hey, the chase card's $1,000 as of comps from 3 months ago, maybe, right? I mean, I just can't stand this. And again, the attacks that I took on this was, oh, you just want attention. You're a breaker. Breakers are thieves. Again, breakers are more legit than repackers. Repackers are the cancer of the freaking hobby. And I'll even say this made me think to myself, StarStock, you set a bad example by making repacks as well. You really do. And I guess you could look back and blame Leaf, right? Leaf's the one who started the whole buyback freaking game, right? And then he started repackaging. I don't like the repacks. I don't like the buybacks. I will at least say, though, a company like Leaf, a company like StarStock is a legitimate organization that can be sued and has to file or is accountable to Better Business or Consumer Affairs. There's an entity. This little scammer's LLC, dude, this guy could be caught red-handed scamming and sending friend packs to his friends and close up shop and just be scamming again in a few months with a different alias, with a different crew. And that is the problem in the hobby. Most scammers don't get punished. They just go somewhere else in the hobby to do what they're doing. Okay? I'm sorry I'm on a rant. It really makes me sick. Again, I'm going to tell you, zero policy. In fact, a good friend of mine who I like, who's on Twitter, he was defending the repack guy. So I don't see a problem that Ryan seems like a good guy. I don't care if Ryan is a freaking priest. Okay? Unless you're donating every damn penny to charity, you're a scammer. I mean, Ryan even says in his tweets, well, I don't have time to list all the cards. Then that's bullshit. I call cap on you. You're a liar, dude. It's not you have time. You're too lazy. You are too lazy to sell legitimately, so you're going to scam people through repacks. Just freaking makes me sick. Oh, again, memberships, right? I just love this crap. This guy, again, and here's the thing. This guy's so well known. I mean, he probably has a legitimate business, probably making $10,000, $15,000. He probably pays for his kids and family. And if this business were to go away, what would he do? What would Ryan do? Right? That's why he's not going to give it up. That's why he'll do anything he can to defend it, including cheat, lie, and steal. You see what I'm saying? This is a cancer, and you're going to see more of these cancers in the hobby because as people are trying to unload, easy way to do it is in repacks. I mean, it just is. There's nothing good about a repack. So if you're listening to me, you're going to have an opinion. You're either repack or not. I'm just telling you, if you like or follow a repacker, you're adding fuel to the fire. Call them out and simply say, stop repacking. Just sell your cards, man. Be an honest person. Sell like a man or a woman on the market and sell your cards. Don't repack it. It's just garbage. Let me take a second. I'll go back to the chat and see if I've got any guests or anybody, or if I lost my whole audience. I got 30 people here. Wow. Okay, so let's see the comments. Maybe some of my repack friends came in here to defend the repack. I think repacks are trash, but if people buy, can't blame the seller that much. I do blame the seller, Ross. Here's the thing, guys. You love this hobby? Do you care about this hobby? because the repacker is just here to rape, pillage, and steal. Okay, he's going to rape and pillage as many people as he can. He's going to move on. He doesn't give a crap about the hobby. Okay, so and that's what this makes me sick. These guys say, "Oh, I'm in it for the hobby." You're not in the hobby. You're here for the money. Okay, I think that's maybe why I become more a collector. Is that the investor guys? They will justify anything with greed, and it's also it's kind of a buyer beware. You know, I don't know. I just think you should warn people. You say, "Look, dude, don't buy repacks. Don't buy repacks." I want a big T-shirt say, "Friends, don't let friends buy repacks." They don't. Between Prism and Select, it just depends on the cards. Some look better. I agree. And I prefer Prism, by the way, over Select. It's just Prism's still so much more expensive than Select. And I think for kids, a kid will have more fun opening Select. But either one, I mean, Prism's going to hold more value. Vent, it's healthy. Thanks, Theodore. Not a repack fan, so don't blame you. Again, here's what I'll tell you. Most experienced people in the hobby know that repacks are bad. And again, I have a good friend who does a repack. I should say good friend loosely. I know somebody does a repack. And I tell them all the time, don't do it. Because you're setting a bad example. Even if your repack's the best, even if you're giving all the money to charity, there's some young or old or some grifter who's watching this going, dude, I could do this. In fact, let me give you an example. I know I could do this, dude. I could easily grift the hell out of people on these repack products. I mean, it's so damn easy to do, right? In fact, here's a good example. A lot of the cards people put in these packs, they didn't pay the graded price for anyway. They paid a lot less. They paid the raw price. Then they get it graded, and then they pass on the value to you, right? So the actual cost in these repacks is even less. It's just a lazy way to sell. I really wish one of the repack guys would come on the channel tonight and debate. And of course they won't. They won't. And justifies the means, not in my book. Exactly. That's exactly right. It's okay, man. I'm helping the hobby. You know, I'm just moving stuff around. It's got a $60 floor. So a $60 floor means if you spend $100, the worst you're going to get is a card that comp for $60 that you probably can't sell for $40. Think about that. I'm glad you guys agree with me. Spot on, Ziggy. All these people label their scamming as hustle. Exactly. Another one that bothers me, but again, I'll say it's a little more legit, are the retail kitchen breakers, right? I mean, you go buy retail at the store, not because you want it for yourself and not because you're flipping it on a Facebook group, but so you can put it in a kitchen break. Not a big fan of that either, but hey, you at least you got to hustle on, I guess, you know. But repacks terrible, man. NBA draft next week. NBA trade Major League Baseball trade deadline coming up. NFL training camp starting. Yep. It's true. Although this really is the quiet time of the summer. In fact, it sucks. Have you guys been watching the basketball tournament? I've watched that all weekend. I really have enjoyed that. I really have. Which also, on a separate tangent, makes me think about the whole amateur thing. And it won't surprise me if Panini doesn't get these TBT guys, right? Cards and NFTs and stuff too. As far as draft, it's not quite as exciting, I think, this year. I don't know why. And I'll be honest, most years the draft isn't that exciting. The most exciting draft to me, I think, was when Tatum, Ball, and Fultz went, because there's three major franchises, go 1, 2, and 3. And then the Zion was pretty interesting, but only because it was Zion. And then last year, I really didn't pay much attention at all. So it'll be interesting. I think what's interesting is see how the drafts will shake people around, right? So, like, where's Ben Simmons going to go? And Major League Baseball, I think, is fun this year, right? We got some pretty good races. Looks like the West of the National League looks dominant. I don't know how much trades are going to impact that, though. We'll see. NFL training camps. Yep, NFL starting. Super excited about NFL. Oh, let's cut through some more of these hustle content creators. Yep. Go Ziggy Go. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Preach, brother. You know, it's funny. Again, I don't know what to say. Most people that buy repacks aren't that familiar with the hobby. I agree. Smart person, state of mind. And here's the problem I have on that. That's why I do think we have to be diligent about calling the shit out, because you're right. Most new people aren't. And that is why the most likely target for a repack are new people to the hobby, right? And that's why I did a video before about, you know, there's three people in the hobby. There's sheep, there's wolves, and there's sheepdogs. It really is true. There are people who prey off of new people in the hobby. They prey off of them. That's why I even made a comment I think, in a chat today about the hobby. In my life, I've got a lot of friends who know I'm in the hobby, right? They follow me on YouTube or whatever, and they've come up to me, asked me about sports cards, and hey, Ziggy, here's sports cards. I want to be honest with you. I believe I've probably talked every one of them out of getting into the hobby. Is that crazy? And I don't mean it in a bad way. I was like, don't do it. It's awful. Get it. I just was like, look, it's not all rainbows and unicorns. Not everything you're watching on the news about how, oh, your collection's worth millions. I explained to him, I said, look, here's reality. There's a lot of things you need to know. There's a lot of people who take advantage of you. There's a lot of ways you can lose your ass in the hobby, right? I mean, it's not, to me, the hobby is one of the most complicated landscapes to be in. It's fun. I enjoy it. But man, it's just, I don't know. If people think it's gambling, then they say it's gambling at some point. Won't the gambling commission come into space? No, it won't, because, and here's why. There's a lot of illegal gambling that goes on right now, right? I mean, for example, fantasy football is a form of gambling, but that's not really regulated, right? We don't regulate people's pools. We don't regulate fantasy football. And I don't think they'll regulate, again, how would I regulate repacks? I think what will end up happening is, I think the best case you have is that you might get the NBA, the licensing committees to come after someone like Ryan and say, look, Ryan's got a business where he's basically repackaging our products and profiting off them without paying us any licensing fees. That might be an area that he's vulnerable to. I also think Better Business Bureau complaints about his business. And again, dude, I'm not trying to poop on you, Ryan. I'm just telling you, if you care about the hobby, if you're such a good guy, then just change. I'm not going to change. Start selling your cards. Do something different, dude. There's other things you can do in this hobby to be a hustle. You've got a great following on Twitter. Be a good person, right? You know, when you go to bed at night, you smile going, man, I just made a bunch of money today. That's terrible, dude, the way you did it. It's not like you worked and did a hard day's work, dude. You already commented in your comments to me on Twitter, you're too lazy to post stuff. I'm sorry, DR. It's just that guy bothers me, dude. And he has such influence. So again, I'm super excited. I love a good repack. Thanks, Mike. Way to poke me, man. What did Ross say? Buy and build up their selling. Smart people would save money. I agree. I know, but this is one thing I kind of was saying earlier in one of my videos, my rant last week, is that we, the community, really let the shit get out of hand, right? Like, I think the voices weren't loud enough last year saying, look, dude, don't buy second-year cards of just, new rookies. That's not going to be the play. Okay, second-year Jordan or LeBron, that's different, but, let's not buy the optic, Kawhi, because he's wearing a Clippers jersey. I mean, that was just a mistake, right? I don't know. We need to talk more about that. Okay, unregulated business always will have sleaze factor. You have to educate oneself. I agree. That's exactly right. So that is why people like Ryan's business will continue. He'll just basically say, oh, Ziggy's a troll. Ignore the troll. I want to point out that anytime somebody calls somebody a troll, it's so easy to ignore the troll, and you're basically casting them into darkness. But really, it's you who are the troll, right? That's what I'll say. If you are honest, debate it, right? If you got a point, stand on it. I mean, Ryan, I sent several messages. I invited you to my channel. I don't want your channel. I don't want your followers. I don't want your followers because I don't want people who think you're a good guy following me, right? So, and again, in unregulated business, the only way to regulate is self-regulated. It's the sports card Wild West marketplace. Membership for advice on which collectibles to buy. Wow. Yeah, exactly. Craziest part is they don't realize when people find out it's a ripoff, they are jaded but treated fairly. Followers will want to support. It's true. Well, here's another great example. Another thing I thought about. I was in a repack back in 2016, and it was a famous one. I think you guys might have heard it. It's called Breakers Row. Breakers Row Repack 2016. You can Google this product. I pulled a Russell autograph out of it, Russell Wilson autograph out of it. My son's a Steelers fan. Seahawks fan. So I was really excited. We sent it off to get graded, and it came back altered. Think about that. So that makes me again think to myself, the best way to move trimmed, altered, fake slabs? Repack products. Absolutely the best way. Ryan could easily be putting fake slabs, trim cards, anything he wants as repacks, and somebody say, well, I didn't know it was trimmed. It's in a PSA slab. So you have to say another reason. It's just anything that's that's not transparent, dude, and packed by a human being that's not a manufacturer, that doesn't have some liability behind him, is a scammer. That's what he is. He's a scammer. I agree. The hobby gets smarter. Repacks will fizzle up. It will, but not right away. In fact, if anything, I kind of said this earlier, there's going to be a resurgent repacks. That's why I'm really bummed that StarStock, if anybody there's listening, I really hope you take your repack off, because right now, so many people are looking for a way to get money, and they're looking to liquidate their cards, and the repacks are a very, very easy way. I mean, dude, I got a whole bunch of PSA 8s and 7s I'd love to stick in repacks, right? And just Trig or others, who's moving in NBA or MLB? That's a good question. I know Simmons is moving, right? They're definitely getting rid of. In fact, Triggerfinger, dude, if you'd like to join the show tonight, I'd love to have you on. I know you're in a lot of comments. I see you in a lot of chats. Anybody else out there, I just dropped a chat there if anyone wants to join. And you don't have to join in video too. You can just put audio on. You can come into the little back room, put your audio on, and come in and talk. I think Simmons is going to move. I think it's going to be interesting. Beal could move. Westbrook could move. I do like the movement in the free agency, and that's one thing I will say. I think Neo made a comment. The basketball offseason was already happening. Right now, we're actually in the kind of the preseason because you're going to have movement with the draft coming up, free agency and stuff like that. So you're going to have a lot of speculations and stuff going forward. So it'll be interesting. That's going to be cool. Baseball, I'm not too sure. I don't think there's many big trades on the horizon in baseball. I don't think there's many races that someone would make the move for, but I could be wrong. By repacker, you mean someone who breaks down boxes in a smaller themed lots? No, let me define that. And I like the logo there. Go Kraken. A repack. So, for example, there's the Rookie Explosion box, and there's Brothers of Cards that take boxes and they take sealed manufacturers packs and they reorganize those. That's not a repack. That's a legitimate business. Now, there's some concerns there, so you want to make sure you use a legitimate company like Filmington or Branded Brothers, right? And the reason I say that is because what you will find in those is some people will pack search or they can reseal packs. But again, if it's a legitimate one, I don't worry about that as much. A repack, I wish I had some cards with me, is basically where I put 10 envelopes together. And I'll say I've got a Luka. It's a Lucas Silver Prism, right? It's a $5,000 card, whatever the comp is. It's one of the cards in one of the envelopes, right? $5,000 card. One of these 10 envelopes, you have a 10% chance. But in the other 9 envelopes, I put things of much, much less value, right? So the total value, let's say this is a $5,000 card, and the other 4 envelopes each might have a $500 card in them, right? So then you can say your floor is 500. The worst you're going to do is 500, but you could do 1,000. That's the repack. The other issues with repacks is that there's no checklist. Okay, that's a big problem. You should have a checklist. What are the bad cards I could get? I don't want to just know the chase card. What's the crap I could get, right? You should disclose the crap. And if you see crap cards in there like defensive players, autographs of a running back, of a lineman, those are red flags, right? That the product sucks. You should have a checklist, and also the sorting and what's it called? The correlation of the product should be done third party, not by the repacker. It's not just you're doing it on camera. Somebody else should do it because you have a conflict of interest. If you're the one that packs it and you're the one that distributes it, you know what's in each pack. And don't tell me you're not marking it or labeling it or you're doing something wrong. Okay. So that's what a repack is. You can Google repack scams or YouTube repack scams. You'll learn a lot about repacks. They're terrible products. The hobby reminds me of the internet poker craze. It does. It does. Absolutely does. Remember the scam going on that where some guy made a code that he was cheating on party poker or something like that? I'd agree. They're not here for the hobby. Everyone knows they're just telling them to move cheap cards. They are. Again, so don't tell me how much you love the hobby. No, Neo does not do repacks. He joked about that. God, Neo, please don't do repacks. I really know you're better than that. I mean, he has too much experience to do that. He knows better. Again, there's another one of my favorite breakers. One of my favorite breakers does a repack product. I love this breaker. I don't participate in their repack. I just don't. These repacks suck, dude. They really do. Like I said, I know several people do them, and I tell them all they suck. They all know I tell them they suck, and I ask all of them, please stop doing it. Kid should up in Mosaic? Maybe. I think Mosaic's crap. I really do. I think they're better off open contenders. If people are dumb enough to buy repacks, I guess they deserve to get scammed. No, criminal mind. No. I don't feel that way. Because, again, I think to myself, I'm a father, and I have kids, and my kids could easily buy the repack product, right? And a new person in the hobby could buy the repack product, right? I understand that, well, it's buyer beware, but, dude, I don't want them. I hope not. Neo hates repacks. That's good to hear. I thought he did. I know he's teased. I gave him grief about creating a little join button. He has a little tip jar there, which I just don't think is necessary, Neo. I mean, you're clearly doing well in the hobby. You got a lot of viewers. You talk about how much ad revenue you make. So why do you need members of the community? In fact, I don't want that. Like I don't want money from people that are my friends and my followers and subscribers. I just don't, guys. I don't know. I have never done a repack. I've encouraged a friend to cancel his subscription. He eventually told me He was saving money this way. I agree. Elite Hunters, you were right on. This man knows his stuff. If you haven't checked out Elite Hunters, another great channel. It just is. Again, I tell a friend, look, man, just don't do it, dude. It's just not worth it. Don't do repacks. Show them how's a better way to use their money. Exactly. Probably trigger. Is there transparent surgeon here? Because Neo needs a sense of humor implanted. Again, I like Neo. What bothers me the most about Neo is I liked him so much and I supported him so much, and then he blocked me. That just bothered me. But I have no issue with Neo, dude. Neo does his thing. I think I don't like that name Neo, because I think Neo, I just automatically think Matrix, and I'm like, you're just not Matrix, man. I don't know. It is what it is. I initially reserved about Pittsburgh because he did auctions. I was initially reserved about Pittsburgh because he did auctions, most ending under $10, and the community is so helpful. No matter buying or not, makes me want to support more because he cares and looks out. I understand that. I mean, there's a lot of guys I see do stuff that I don't 100% agree with, but I will say this too: they'll at least listen to me. They'll listen to my opinion, and I appreciate that. 90% of these YouTubers won't call out bullshit that they don't want to get. You're absolutely right. That is one thing you have no fear about me. I don't care. I don't do my channel for money. I don't do it for the followers or the power. I mean, I love subscribers. So if you haven't already, please subscribe, because I love your feedback. I learn, I grow, we grow together. But I agree, they're just cowards. And part of it is they don't. Here's what it is. Part of it is they don't want their own business to be hurt. They're like, well, I have a business too. I don't want to throw rocks at that business. But dude. Anyway. Theodore Weathers, I'm on an email chain where some of us email our plays back and forth. Get me your email if you want. Oh, thanks. Hey, that reminds you, Triggerfinger. I think you sent me an email, dude, and it went to my account. And I remember seeing it, but I don't remember reading it. I apologize for that. It's an account. It's on my old account, my old Gmail account. And I seldom check that. And I really appreciate you reaching out to me. So I got to reach out and get back to you on that. This is my son calling. I'm going to pause. No, I'm not going to pause. I'll take a message. If it's an emergency, he'll call me back. Okay. An email if you want to. I like that. I think repacks gain more popularity because nobody could get cards or in the pan. I understand that, but again, I'll put it this way. That's how people took advantage of people, right? There's several of these companies, these little YouTube groups that do this. And that's exact bullshit excuse they tell you is that, well, I know repacks are hard to get, so I put some packs together for you. That's not making things better, because again, there's not a repack made. There is not a repack made where the full value is in the product, because some value has to be in paying the person who put the repack together. They justified that existence, right? The whole purpose of repacking is you're finding a shortcut. You're too lazy to list, so you're going to stick it all. And you also, here's another reason for repacks. You know that there's something in your repack that will not sell at comps, and you're camouflaging it. You're hiding it in that. Because if everything sold at comps, it wouldn't be an issue, right? There's so many platforms out there. But you're right. The pandemic encouraged it, and the crash is going to make it even worse. It's been a nightmare for people trying to stream the Olympics. Thanks, NBC. Really, I have not been following the Olympics, man. I'll be honest. I have not been paying attention. Neo also seemed riddled with the plague of saying like every second word. Well, that's a speaking thing. It's funny. Do you guys ever take Toastmasters? Toastmasters has a clicker. Click, 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 click. So every time you say like or a crutch word, they click it for you while you're speaking, which really gets in your head. So I went through that a lot, and I took public speaking, and I still pick up my own ums and ahs and like. So, it is what it is. I applaud anybody who's hustling, even those who aren't hustling, who are hustling in the shade. I just encourage you to come to the light. Ryan, come to the light. Sports Card Invest, come to the light. This year's NBA draft is a lot of sleeper talent. I don't disagree with you on that. Love the set completion video. Watched it earlier today, and it was very cool to enjoy your joy of coming through. Man, I have to tell you, dude, I really enjoyed putting together that set. And it was kind of obsessive as I got into it. Then I was like, and then it was a level of patience because I could buy some immediately, but I'm like, no, I'm going to wait. I'm going to hit the auction this one. I'm going to chase this one. I'm going to chase that one. What I'm talking about is I put together the complete Panini Prism pack NFT set, 300 cards, just matches the Prism set. And I really enjoyed it. It's the first set I put together in 3 years. I really loved it. And I'm a big fan of the NFTs right now. I'm high on the NFTs, man. for collecting. I've never bought one, but hey, I'm a cheapskate. Hey, I understand. Stay a cheapskate. Repacks may not be the best for the hobby, but telling people to not get any repacks is basically telling gamblers not to gamble. No, it's not the same. Okay, because here's the difference. If you're new to the hobby, like I once was too, and I got in repacks, you don't know. You don't know what a repack is. You don't know how it's created. You don't know the risks that are involved. You don't understand how easy it is to scam. Most people are unaware of it, right? You see, it's in a package. It's a box. It's got a seal on it. It's great. And I'm thinking some of the more high-end ones. I'm not going to use their names, but some high-end ones that they actually do, seal and paper. But I'll say those ones use a third party to create their packaging too, by the way. Okay, which I think is a big difference. And I'm going a little bit too off topic here, but me taking 10 envelopes and stuffing them myself, very easy to scam. Okay, so again, it's a bigger difference. I understand. It's how do I? You might be a sex addict, right? That's a poor example. I'm live. I don't want to say the wrong things, but and I also say, look, telling people how to do repacks is not. It's just it should be done more often. Let's just say that. Shocked that the USA team lost against France. Holy smokes! I'm not really shocked, dude. And I really don't care. Like, I don't know where this American arrogance is that, like, we're supposed to be the best in basketball or something like that. Dude, the world is big. And, they're smart. And basketball is a great game. And a lot of people are picking it up. And, hey, I think that the NBA is like 30%, global athletes. So I'm not surprised. It's also hard to put together a team like that to play as a team, So I don't think they're going to medal. That'll be a shocker. It'd be cool, dude. If like Patty Mills and the Australian team, the French team's got a good team. They got Natila. They got a couple people on there. The French team and the Lucas team. Is that Slovakia? If they all medal. Like, dude, I'm a closet Luka fan. I'm going Luka Gold. I think it'd be awesome. Free backs. What about Chase case? Chase cases? Pretty much an open face repack. I don't think I've seen those. I don't know what I'm talking about, Mike. Chase cases. I love discussion. Call each other out. Call out me if I'm full of shit. And I agree, dude. And I'll say the same thing. If I'm saying something wrong, call me out. In fact, if I show you this Twitter stuff, I got called all sorts of stuff. Again, I got called a breaker, which is not a bad thing, but, oh, you're a breaker. You profit off breaking. No, breaking and repacking, two different things. One, you're breaking somebody else's product that they put together. You're not responsible for it. You didn't collate it or whatever. Repacking, no. Yeah, dude blocked me like Ziggy for no good reason. Dude needs to move to Beijing since he's in love with censorship. Faced. What up, Toa? It's a hobby. Let's start treating it like one. I agree, man. It is a hobby, but like I said, it's a hobby to you and me. It's not a hobby to everybody. A lot of people are here simply to profit off of others. They're simply here to profit off of others. And they will use the hobby as an excuse. Those are what we call wolves in sheep's clothing. And there's a lot of them, man. There's a lot of them. That's what I'm saying. It's my hobby because I don't make a living off this. It's his life it's his livelihood because he scams and profits off of it. And I shouldn't say scams. It's just his livelihood. And we got a lot of comments. I'm going to move up. What's up? Tell you might gamble on fantasy sports. You can't gamble on fantasy sports in Nevada. Really? That's crazy. I was here earlier when you were on Luca Nation, and I get your point, but there's a lot of good hobby brought back into life, sharing it if someone cares enough to ask. Oh, about my comment about getting people. So again, I don't be totally cynical. I'm not like, don't get in the hobby. It's full of thieves. I'm just, when people come, they go, oh, Ziggy, as you hear the hobby's fun. Should I get into it? I'm like, relax. In fact, I have a good friend who actually did start getting into cards. But I told him about it, and I warned him about it. He made a trade. I think he got taken advantage. He was supposed to buy $1,000 worth of cards, and he got a whole bunch of raw cards that maybe had $500 in value. So, again, I love advising people and talking to people, but I'm not one of these people who's like, everybody should come get in the hobby, man. I just not like that. I just think there's a lot of education that goes into it. Same thing with NFTs. I wouldn't tell you to race out and get in NFTs unless you understand what you're doing. But let's be honest. Most people race in everything. No one reads the manual, right? Hunting some of those NBA guys. Prices seem reasonable right now. No, I don't know, man. I'll tell you, for me, there's certain players I like. I like Luka and I like Zion. Other ones I'm happy to see come and go, right? I'm happy if I get a job, I sell a job. I'm fine with that, right? They keeps the oil going in the machine. I'm trying to make everybody money by telling them to buy Mahomes cards. Howdy, Ziggy. Got my snacks to watch. Hey, man. Good to see you, Nats, man. Good to see you. I'll get off my rant here. Yes, sir. Great time. I wish I had some capital. I have to move some stuff to invest in. Dude, I know exactly what you mean. So I will tell you, I made a comment about this. I did a portfolio sale this week. I sold my entire account in ComC. Now, I will tell you, in full transparency, I have 2 ComC accounts. My sons have 2, one for one boy, one for the other. But we liquidated one. We did a wholesale and sold off the entire thing, which I think is great. I like that because you kind of like purge the herd. And the person gets a great deal, and then you can move on and start with a brand new portfolio. But anyway, I took that money and moved it into NFTs. So I understand what you mean. Capital is tight. I don't have new capital. I haven't had new capital really in several months to put in the hobby. I've basically been taking other capital and reallocating it right now, right? And patience. There's certain things I'm just kind of holding on. Societal greed is the problem. You know, greed is good and bad. Everyone saw Fairfield. Oh, can I do that? Everyone saw Fairfield. Oh, can I do that? What's Fairfield? I don't recall. But buy whatever the FK you want. If you need people to tell you what to buy, what's the point? Yes, but you should also be aware of what you're buying. You should know what you're getting into. You should know the risks of the product, and these homemade repack products, there's nothing behind that. There's no real company behind it. So not pushing ethics or morals, a business instead of just profits, the downfall of hunting, our hobby, and country ultimately. I agree. Very well said, Tom. Not pushing ethics and morals in business isn't just profits. It's so true, man. Again, I've said this before. When you're making money, people will justify anything. They can justify a lot of wrongs in the world for money. Greed is human nature. Just have to keep it in check. Easier said than done. I agree. And again, I understand. I am all for a hard day's work and hustle. But dude, like I've said, Ryan, there's other ways you can pack the hobby and do things. Don't do repacks. Gaming control board, collectible control board in each state. You can't sell cards unless you pass a background check. Half these guys couldn't get licensed. Really? See, the thing about that, Theodore, I remember listening to Cards and Comics, and he talked about it, and he said this again. A lot of scammers in this hobby just scam somewhere else. They get caught scamming, they go somewhere else and scam. They don't. There doesn't seem to be much teeth in punishment. I like that quote. I'm gonna look into that. Ryan, you hear that? American business has no ethics. That's the problem. We are closing hospitals and build condos. So, Will, I'm not going to get into too political of a comment, but you're not too far off the truth. It's sad. It's sad. Oh, I see Michael in the back. I didn't see him out there. I'm gonna get Michael in the here. Give me 1 minute, Mike. Let me get caught up on these. Oh, God damn it, we got a lot of comments. Let me see if there's any big comments. I'm glad you came swinging today. I'm just gonna pull this one up. I'm gonna pull on Michael. So real quickly, DR. First of all, man, I really appreciate you. This I forget your real name because your initials are DR. But I appreciate you, and I appreciate you coming and listening. Because again, you saw my Twitter comments tonight, and I just simply want to say it's wrong. And again, I talked to Ryan, and I'd be happy to debate Ryan and say, Ryan, why are you doing it, right? And Ryan would say, well, it's easier for me to make money this way than listening cards and so forth. But I would simply say, Ryan, please don't do it. Why don't you do something different, dude? You know, I don't know. It wouldn't work. Let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and get Michael in here. What's up, Mr. Ham?
What's going on? You hear me all right?
I can hear you clear, man. How are you doing?
Good. I'm good. How are you doing? I'm just listening to you go off a little bit here.
Well, I'm glad you joined. This way I can change the topic and get off, from
That's all right. I want to actually change the topic. I want to talk about Mosaic for a minute.
Okay, let's talk about Mosaic.
Do you want to know why Mosaic becomes so popular?
Yes, why?
Because there's nothing else shiny to buy when it comes out related to especially NFL.
You're right.
If you look at the upcoming product release, we all want football. We want all the new rookies and all the new gear on all the new teams, and we're just getting inundated with this garbage from college that is just being distributed everywhere in 1,000 different layers. And guess what? It's going to be hot. It is going to be popular. Why? Because there's nothing else. I mean,
Right.
a Prestige just came out, but who wants that?
My only thought though, Mike, if you look at the comps though, because you're right. In fact, Panini did this genius last year, because last year, remember, they launched basketball during the COVID time when no one had anything out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So COVID, Mosaic basketball was like on fire. It was the hottest product around. And then you're right, the summer came and the first silver shiny NFL rookie card was Mosaic, and we all went out to get them and people graded them. But my thoughts are, I'm looking at my star stock and the comps on those cards are horrible.
They are. And I think it's going to be one of those products that we all poo-poo on for a long time because the greater good of the hobby isn't attracted to them right now. They're not bad cards. They're not ugly. They're cool. There's tons of color in it. There's lots of parallels. They're all fun. So I just see that down the line, it may become more valuable than it is now. And especially that first year they stopped printing it. And then all of a sudden Mosaics and Chronicles. Now it's a big deal again.
Again, that's good points, but where do you rank it though? You've got Prism, you've got Optic, you've got Select. I just can't see it challenging any one of those three.
It's not going to challenge them, but there's so many people in the hobby now. There's so much room for more cards. Yes, we all want the top tier card or whatever the market believes is a top tier card, which right now is Prism. Select is not going to take over Prism, especially now. And if it does, it's going to do it for those previous years, stopping at probably 2018. That's where I really see that stopping. And then Prism, that's going to mean Prism going backwards, even before that's still going to stay relevant above them, other than low pop, low serial numbered cards. Those are always going to have their place no matter what the product is, as long as it's shiny. Because a Prestige 1 of 1 is not going to sell for as much as a Mosaic 1 of 1, which won't sell as much as a Prism 1 of 1. There is a stair step.
Have they started pre-selling Mosaic yet?
No.
Okay.
It's not supposed to release until September.
I'm big on football. I won't say big. I'm interested in football this year because of the draft class. And my plan really was to probably buy products like that and either hold them to sell to upgrade to Prism later on, right? But I don't think I would rip Mosaic. I agree with you that it probably will be very popular.
It's going to be in retail, and I'm a retail hunter, so I'm going to end up with it and rip it anyway. And with the amount of quarterbacks that are in this draft and other players, it's almost like even in a break, it's like, one of 6 to 8 teams, I have a really good chance now. Instead of like this past year in basketball, it's like one of 3 teams. So it's a 3 out of 32 chance of getting something realistically team-wise decent. And, it's basketball the year before that, you had way more options.
So who do you break with, Mike?
I don't want to say it because I don't want everybody to flood over the two.
Fair enough. And the reason I asked that is that I will tell you a similar answer. I will be breaking with people that I know are getting allocation. So they're going to have better prices. Right. I'm not going to be, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, I'm just not going to be breaking with retail breakers who picked it up at Walmart and flipping it.
No, the only time I get into a retail break, is when this hobby's so expensive, maybe I can't find it, or it's a $20 break for like 5 blaster boxes or something, and then like maybe a couple packs of hobby that are expensive. I have a guy that I follow on Facebook that he does that. Super nice guy, easygoing, maybe does like 5 breaks a week. He's not like, that's not his job. But it's fun. He's nice. He does a good job packing it. The main guy I break with, he's cheaper than anybody else I've ever found. And he also makes sure that even if you don't get a hit, you're getting cards. There's no hitless break for you ever.
That's nice.
He sends you something, and he'll send you numbered cards, autographed cards. He sends you hot packs, basically. Where I say a hot pack, what I mean by that is he'll send you a pack of cards that you could pull a Luka auto rookie out of.
Let me ask you this, without giving away his name, is he a Facebook breaker or a YouTube breaker?
Oh, he's a Facebook breaker. Well, he has his own website, but he started on Facebook.
Yep. I will tell you, in my opinion, the best breakers are in the Facebook groups.
Yeah. Well, this was before he even had, he has a card shop and everything. So he gets allocation and stuff like that. So it's a bigger thing. I'll give you a hint. He's in Colorado.
Well, it's okay. I probably know him. We'll talk later on. But here's the funny thing. I remember back in the day, like 4 or 5 years ago, before the boom, there was a big thing about poaching between Facebook groups because there were really good breakers, right?
No, even him back in the day, he'd be like, if somebody gets on our Facebook group and they're trying to get you to come over to them, you let me know about it and show me the thing, I'll give you a $50 break credit.
Wow.
That's what he would do. He would just stomp out the mud is what he would do. I love the guy. I'll talk to you about him. You'd love him. I mean,
well, I will give a shout out. I'm gonna give a shout out to one of my favorite breakers, and that is Bargain Box Breaks. Have you ever checked him out?
I have.
You know what I'm talking about? Pete?
Yeah.
He is the best. And if you've ever watched this guy break, To me, he's the most honest breaker because he calls it as it is. If he's opening a box and he says it's crap, he's like, this is a crap box. Panini ripped us off. You guys, I feel bad for you. He's not one of these breakers says, oh, fire. That's worth lots of, again, there's some of the best guys are in Facebook breaking.
Yeah, he's like that too. He wants everybody excited when they hit something good. Yeah. But he'll also tell you when something's not right, or if something fails on the manufacturer's end, he picks up the slack for it for you. Yeah, I've seen him open a bad box of something that's $1,000 and be like, "You're going to get all those cards. We're going to open another box because we didn't get our hit." And
that's awesome.
Very few people are ever going to do that. Very few people are ever going to be like that.
Yeah. Another one that I'll go ahead and I'll give a plug to is International. I think it's International Breaks. He's a Facebook breaker. He does things like I remember one time we did a break where we didn't get the cards, and since he videoed it, he sent the video to Panini and an email, and Panini sent the hits back. So he sent everything back. I mean, it just there are some really good people. That's why I'll say breaking is interesting. There's good and there's bad in breaking, but I'm for the most part a fan. Just you have to know what you're doing though.
How they ship your product too is very important too. Because some guys are very lazy. I mean, the other day I bought an eBay auction. It was like a $20 card, but they didn't know what they were doing. They had one feedback, but I was like, whatever, I'll just buy it anyway because it was a cheap buy. Now he sends it in a priority mail small flat rate box. Literally just the card in a top loader, and he threw it in there. That was it. It was rattling around in there and almost came out of the thing. I was like, are you kidding me? And I was like, he paid $8 to ship it. I was like, I paid $3.20 for each cent. He didn't know what he was doing, but it sounded like he got mad and threw it in the box and just.
Well, also timely, because you're right. You could do a break and wait a week or two to get your cards. I mean, that's another thing. You want timely breaks. There's a quick comment.
Yeah, my guy, he sends them out within 24 hours to get your.
Did you ever break with Jaspys?
No, I haven't.
I like Jaspys to Criminal Mind. I used to, when I started breaking, the first breaker I used was Leighton Sports Cards.
Leighton. I know Leighton very well.
Yeah, huge. I will tell you, this should be no shocker from you guys. I'm blocked by Leighton. Leighton and I had a fallout. But I use Jaspys. I love Mojo breaks. It's funny you mentioned Jaspys. They have a break going on right now. My only problem with Jaspys is they're pretty pricey. I mean, their breaks are expensive. Okay, and they're doing a break right now for the entire '86 Fleer basketball set.
Oh wow.
Okay, and I only saw the details. I don't know anybody else. I don't know. I'm not trying to promote it, but it was interesting. I think you pay $100 and some bucks a spot, and everybody's going to get one card from the set. 2 people will get a Jordan. One will get a Jordan, a PSA 8.
I did that
sticker.
Do you know who Houdini is?
I've heard of him.
Okay, he's actually one of the largest breakers. His Topps allocation's ridiculous. He's kind of what ignited Phil Pulls. That's how Phil became popular because of Houdini. Houdini's very fair. He runs massive breaks. That's who I used to get into all my Bowman case breaks, because he'll do like a 52 case break of Bowman Chrome. It's going to take some couple months. Yeah, Houdini. Yep.
Interesting.
And he's on blowout forums. That's where he started. And he does.
Did you know Boomu or Bomu? Remember that guy?
Mm-mm. Oh, no, I started out doing Houdini, and I've had some fantastic breaks with him. And he pulls fire. He's just one of those guys that ends up pulling some of the craziest cards that you can possibly think of out of stuff.
I will say I do like those multi-case breaks. I remember back in the day, I think it was the Ohtani breaks, man, where they'd break like 10 cases of that, but Bowman. There was one guy who used to do a lot of them. I think it was Bomo or something like that. And then there was another YouTuber that did a bunch of them. I can't remember his name, but I do like those. I'm a big fan of those big breaks. Houdini is good. I've heard the name. I just never broke with him. I also like Platinum breaks. I broke with Platinum in the past.
And Houdini's here in Florida. He's across the bridge from me, basically.
So is Leighton. Leighton's down in Orlando.
Yep.
A lot of breakers down there. I think I'm just checking up on some of these comments. Feel bad. Gary B is so coked out. What are you talking about? Okay, so back to Mosaic.
I was just in a Mosaic soccer break with the guy that I usually like to break with. I had Germany. Yeah. I can't remember the guy's name that I hit. I hit a good Germany autograph, though. He ended up magging that.
See, I don't know the team enough. I wouldn't know if I had a good hit or not in Mosaic.
Yeah, neither do I. I was just hoping to get like either a Ronaldo or something like that.
Are you selling raw on your cards, or are you grading, Mike?
I've never graded a card. I've never sent a card in to grade ever in my life.
Are you selling then, or you still hold everything?
I've always been a long-term hold guy. I was the guy that you didn't need. I buy a card, I hold on to it for the future. A, enjoy it. B, like the potential. C, can get out of it later. and
Yep.
done very well. It's a retirement type piece. You know, that's where I'm very GOAT driven. My best card is my Mike Trout Bowman First auto, and it's a true BGS 9.5, all 9.5s
That's a
all the way
beautiful
around.
card, man. And you
I
got that
bought
a long
that
time ago, right?
2013, I paid $250 for it.
That's freaking awesome, man. I
So,
love
I mean,
that story.
but now I'm like, well, I should have bought 20, 30 of them. But I mean, that wasn't the mentality back then. It wasn't I needed 10 Jordan rookies or 10, Kobe things. It wasn't like that. It was, hey, you had one really good card, you really enjoyed it. You like that player, get other ones of them, but not get 10 of the same thing like we do now, where it's very stock market like, where
But
you're owning
also,
pieces of something.
let's be honest. Let's say you did buy 5 back in 2013. You
Yep.
probably would have sold a couple since then, right?
No, not on
No?
Mike Trout. No, because I know what his ceiling is.
Really? So
And-
when will you ever sell that Mike Trout, or will that be in the PC forever? Is
That's
your
going
daughter
to be
getting that?
it's one of no, that's mine. No. That's going to be like maybe a Corvette or something when I'm looking back and I want a gasoline powered car or something
Nice.
when they're out of range. But no, it's always meant to be something later in the line to either turn into something else or, God forbid, you come into an accident, you need money, you have something of value that's a liquid asset. I like keeping things in assets more than I do just money in the bank just sitting there really doing nothing for me.
Yeah.
So I look at sports cards as a little bit from that. I don't like to go to the casino and gamble. I'm not really a scratch off guy, but I'm a sports card guy. I like to open packs. That's my thrill is opening packs, because when I open a pack, at the end of the day, I still have something to show for it.
Yep.
And that something could still turn into something more
Down the road.
where if I scratch something off, it's now just a dead piece of paper. If I go to the casino, I had 10 seconds of fun and I'm out $100. I'd better spend $100 on packs, open them and enjoy that.
It's funny. Listen to your story, because I was a degenerate gambler before I got into sports cards too, and it makes me think to myself, should we go to Gamblers Anonymous and recruit people to do sports cards?
It might already be here. That's why the copy's probably going crazy right now.
And is that really helping them? I don't know. Hey man, put down the craps. Come over here and open a box of Prism with me. It's a better rush.
What's so
and
funny
you get something.
because flipping Steve, I want to learn how to play craps. It's always one of those games I want to learn how to play. But when somebody tries to teach it to you, you're just like, oh, you lost me. I have no idea what I'm doing now.
Oh, I love
but
craps.
he was explaining it one day, and I started to get it from that perspective.
Yeah.
And I'm one of those people that I learned by doing more than you just. I can read an instruction booklet, but
Yep.
I'm a doer, visual learner. So I was like, I need that in my face type of instruction in order to figure it out, and then it sinks in. But
Yeah, craps. It's a fun game, but it's also it's as complicated as sports cards. There's so many things going on.
yeah,
Stick with
that's
sports
true.
cards.
Now you haven't been trying to buy anything on Target, have you? When they drop?
I have not.
No,
Have
I
you
mean,
have you been doing anything?
I got a couple of Prism Megas last week.
Nice.
What's really weird is what I've noticed, at least with the red card, is what you couldn't do previously is go back in and repurchase the max amount, because they were only allowing you 3 anyway for the Megas.
Yep.
So, but you could go back in, buy another 3 as long as there's stuff available. Where the old way, they would lock you out and make you change your password.
Yep.
But because it's now red card generated, and you have to have a Target red card as your main primary card on your account to check out. Otherwise, you can't check out.
Interesting.
And that's kind of the way they're like, okay, well, how many bots have red cards? Not a whole lot of them. And then you can only purchase so much, 3. That's even for a bot going over and over again, trying to get back in, it's still enough time for the regular person to at least get something and move on, as long as you have a red card.
Yeah.
Thing is people are trying to subscribe for a red card. A, it's a credit check. B, it's 7 to 10 days before they even approve you. And they also have a red card that comes straight out of debit, which you can usually get a little quicker, but there's still a delay, and nobody wants to wait, so they freak out. Especially the younger crowd that probably can't get credit like that. That were using a bot, had money elsewhere, and they don't have access to that. They're now cut out of this a bit. And then just
Is there anything in the stores yet?
Target, it's just NBA, NFL, and MLB that they don't carry. They were carrying some soccer, some UFC, some racing. I saw some racing the other day at one of them. They still carry those when they get them, but we're in kind of like a dry spell on the market anyway for a retail product. Prestige football has come out. Chronicles Draft has come out, which people are chasing at because of select Trevor Lawrence rookies that are in them.
Are you a baseball guy?
Yeah, I'm an every sport guy.
Yeah, the baseball sets drop on 28th, I think, this week, right? The factory sets.
Yeah, but I'll be out of town, so
Will they just be
I'll be at the
online?
National. I don't know.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised if they were.
That I'd be interested in. I just haven't been in the retail as much right now. I guess there's nothing like I would like the Prism Mega boxes. I didn't realize they still they have those out. That's amazing.
They may drop those again this week too, as early as tomorrow.
And that kind of surprises me. It also makes me, again, I'm very aware of the fact there is a lot of retail manufactured product out there.
Well, I think what it is too is we're realizing now that the way the market's been over the last year or two is how much retail product's really made. Honestly, yes, it's more than it used to be, but there was still a lot. And you don't see a clearance bin anymore. There's no markdown anymore. They don't make it. I was at a Big Lots, for people that don't know, they get cards. And they had 2020 playoff fat packs, Topps Heritage Baseball, and already Top Series 2 packs. All right, because nobody's buying the Top Series 2 baseball. So that stuff's going to be in clearance, but there's no extreme value. I mean, you're chasing hits more than you are rookies. There's no good rookies in it. Update's going to pretty much be about the same way. Series 1 next year is going to be a big deal. Because that's when you have your Wander Franco and your Duran and these other guys that have just got called up. That's Series 1 next year is going to be pretty nasty. And then, of course, you're going to have Topps Chrome later this year, which kind of combines everything, which will be popular no matter what.
Yeah. Yeah, just like I said, I haven't. My kids really liked the retail because we could buy it, rip it. The online stuff's just not as exciting to them. I don't know. So I haven't. Last retail stuff I got online was Bowman Mega Boxes. Mm-hmm. But I'll take a look. So do you just check every morning, or are you using any monitors or anything?
I'm on a Discord I just went on Discord and typed in Target Retail, and I have a notification on it, which sometimes wakes me up in the morning anyway, because all the guys are on there just waiting. And then once it pops, they all post the link in there, so you can just use the link. And the link's usually active 30 minutes prior to a product going live, roughly 20 to 30 minutes.
So can you see it on my screen right now?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, so this is something I came across. I don't know if this is legit or not, but I saw this. Mm-hmm. Secured. These guys have, I guess, some type of monitoring on sports cards now. They did Shopify, Supreme, Nike, and all stuff, but now they're doing it for sports cards. See?
But see, those are the type of things that are bad for the hobby because it just promotes people to flip and not people that are really
I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you on that. I thought the same thing. I also think to myself, they want you to pay for that, but there's no guarantee.
100%.
Then there's no guarantee you're going to get it just because you have that little app or whatever.
Yeah, the soccer player that I pulled the auto of in that break was Havertz. Kai Havertz. He's on
No idea.
I'm watching an auction of his that ends in 30 minutes. Card's at $112.
So what will you do with that card when you get it? You're just going to hold on?
Take it. I should get it Monday or Tuesday. I'm going to take it to the National with me.
Okay, so you will try to sell it there.
Yeah, I'm going to try and trade it for something that I'm more interested in.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
Hey,
I've never really been a big trader or anything either. So I'm going to the National trying to trade cards, and I'm not used to trading, so I don't even know. And I'm very, very picky on cards that I want to keep for myself or long term. I have a very fine appetite for that type of stuff. Like there's very specific cards that I want in those type of situations, and for them to trade for what I have, I mean, in my head, sometimes I'm thinking like I wouldn't do that, but somebody else may. So that's where I gotta really get that stuck in my head. Like, don't think like me, think like them.
When are you going? You're going out on the 28th?
I'll be up there on Wednesday, midday. I'll be there.
And then how long you staying?
I leave Sunday. My plane leaves at 12, so I don't know. My Sunday just may be more of just hanging out and not even going to anything at the show type thing. So I'm going to pretty much put in a hard Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay. If you drop any content, please let me know.
I'm going to try to. I mean, that's the goal. I got to figure out Wi-Fi there, and because everything I do is usually on my phone. I'm not like one of the guys that takes the camera, chops stuff up. I have a Power Director on my phone, a couple other apps. I just record everything. I went and bought another phone today, the same version of what I already have because it's an older phone, a Pixel 3, just to take to the National and do nothing but video and editing on just one phone.
That's cool.
And then when I get back, I'll give the phone to my mom because hers is all cracked. But, for me to have it, it's better than me trying to buy a camera, bring a laptop, worry about time to do it. I could do this literally anywhere that has Wi-Fi and then put something out.
I'll be following what you're doing. And if you're free any morning, you want to join me on the one morning, I'd love to hear how things are going. I don't think you'll be up.
I don't know how late I'm going to be sleeping in each day because I'm already told that you don't sleep at night and you're already up and rolling because you're just pumped for it.
Now, did you watch the Go GTS live video? this week?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't.
If you have a chance, I'd recommend checking it out. They have, in my opinion, the best breakdown for all of the events that are the national, right? From what free packs are going on, what promos. For example, here's two things I would look for at the national. The Topps DJ Ski Michael Jordan card.
I'm already going to try and get that one. I mean,
that's going to be hot.
It's going to be ridiculous.
It's because there's a lawsuit coming to that one.
I don't know, because they're using art. In art, you can intimidate somebody's likeness. Because have you seen the card? What it looks like?
I did, but the advertising, like, do you follow? I think it's Lesko on Twitter. He's the lawyer.
Yeah.
He even joked, he goes, "I got to get one of these because a lawsuit's coming." I agree. They'll sue regardless.
Oh yeah, 100% probably. I mean, that's we'll see. How do we know Michael Jordan won't be there for Upper Deck? He can talk to it about himself.
Let me take a time out because it's Upper Deck, and Upper Deck's kind of lazy, so maybe they won't sue. And I will say, Topps has gotten very bold because they did the Lawrence set this year, and now they're doing this set. So but
I don't think this has anything to do with Topps. This is coming directly from DJ Ski's group because he does his own cards. If you go to his website,
I know he does, but Topps isn't Topps supporting it or not? Maybe not.
This is all from Ski himself. This is only DJ Ski. It has nothing to do with Topps.
Really? Okay, so I thought Topps was involved. I'm sorry about that.
Nope. This is just part of his project that he was doing on the side. And again, it's art. In art, you can do stuff in somebody's likeness and you don't get in trouble. So I don't know.
There's Upper Deck has they have a trademark patent protection for Michael Jordan cards.
Yeah, but this doesn't have his name on it. Doesn't have his number on it. Has a guy in a red jersey shooting a basketball.
I'm just saying, look at this.
It's a freeze frame of Elo, basically.
Upper Deck sued Panini because Panini made cards that had Michael Jordan in the background.
But you can look at the card and see it's Michael Jordan. Like, it's not even like, hey, that could be somebody else. No, that's Michael Jordan.
I'll say this: if DJ Ski, if that works, in my opinion, it just opens a floodgate for more. And here's what it really opens up:
it's already there, but they're going to have to sue them just to scare other people not to do it.
Yeah,
that's really what it's going to come down to. Because right now, the way he's doing it and the way I've seen it, I don't see anything wrong regarding what he's doing.
Oh, I don't either. I just think it's interesting, and I want one.
I want one too. I don't even know how you're going to be able to obtain it.
I don't either.
I think there's like 1,000 copies of it made.
2021. They're printed to the
21,
year.
Right? But there's going to be certain ones that are autographed and numbered, I think, and stuff like that.
Yeah. Another thing I'm looking forward to is I hear that Leaf is releasing the Pro Set product. You know what I'm talking about?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I've heard about it, and I've seen some I've already saw what the Trevor Lawrence looked like, but.
So they did the checklist is sick, right? Because mainly it's a lot of vet autos. I mean, you got like Curry and you got autos across all the sports. But from what I hear, it might be a national only product.
Yeah, I mean, this is my first time going to a national, and already it sounds overwhelming. Just before I even get to the door to look inside and go, where the hell am I going to go first? And does it even matter? I'm also going up there by myself with just a couple people that I know from here. Going to meet a bunch of the YouTubers there. After that, I'm honestly like just a fish in a sea by myself. I'm going to try and tag along with the group, but that doesn't mean they're going to want me around. You know what I mean?
I think you'll be fine. There's a ton of things going on. Like I said, check out the Go GTS Live because they break down for you all the different events. Certain events have, I think there's like a free breaks for kids.
Well, like all the autographs, you have to have a VIP pass, right?
I don't know. I think to get in early, you do. VIP passes get you in early, but I'm just saying there's a lot of events. There's also a lot of happy hours, and like Filmington, I heard last night is doing a meetup for YouTubers. You hear about that?
Yep.
So join that. Who else is doing something?
Basically,
Michael Baseball Card Collector is doing something as well.
Thursday and Friday night is like back-to-back meetups.
Yeah.
And that's that. I mean, I'm assuming I'm probably not going to bed till 2 or 3 in the morning unless I peel off on my own. Where I'm staying is about 3 miles away from the convention center. And I've never been to Chicago, so I don't. Again, I'm going to be in one place the entire time, and I'm not leaving there until I'm going back to be at that place. Otherwise, I'm just going to stay within that general consensus and hang out with whoever is willing to accept me within the group. The guys I'm going with, they have a table at the actual show, so they're going to be very busy doing that and that setup right there. You've seen the videos of the guy with the Benjamin Franklin signed letter to his mistress?
Yes.
Okay, that's the group I'm going with. They opened up the Tampa card shop here in North Tampa. It's a new card shop, and then they do shows here at all the Florida shows that are around. And then they're going up there. They go to Dallas and stuff like that. They were in Atlanta. So they move around quite a bit and they do a lot of shows. But that's the group I'm going with. And I met one of the main guys, Bryant, basically standing in line waiting for cards. That's how our relationship started.
Very cool.
And that was kind of our group of figuring out where product was going to be, who was dropping, and things like that. So, I've met people that are friends, by doing this over time. And it's interesting how it's progressed even further and further along now. And just it's going to be fun to look forward to meeting people that I've only talked to on YouTube or in chats or seen, through this venue. Basically, it's going to be very odd because it's like, what do? Do you handshake? Do you hug? Do you high five? Do you just try and trade right away? I don't know.
Yeah, it will be. I'm really bummed I'm not going. I mean, I have some personal reasons that are conflicting, but
yeah, it's all right.
It's going to be fun, man. I look forward to the content, and what I'm really excited about is that I even though I can't go, I know that I will get a lot of good content from all the people who will be there.
I think it's going to be national overload the next 2 weeks, basically. And I know people always say people are tired of hearing about it, but honestly, I don't think they're tired about it yet because nothing's happened.
Yeah.
My thing with the hobby generated stuff is I'm trying to figure out what's going to boom during the national and what's going to then take that effect after the national, because you're not going to see those sales happen at the nationals like you would like on a Market Movers or a Card Ladder. You'll see that after, when those people couldn't obtain it there and now know it's going up, and then they're now chasing it somewhere else.
Well, I did hear Card Ladder is actually taking I think sales data at the show.
Yeah, they're going to try to, but I mean, how big the show is. Me just looking at a map, it's impossible.
Yeah.
But you're going to see cards sell off eBay, after, I would say, Friday night, once people really can't get anything Thursday, Friday, or notice stuff's going up and stuff selling for more. They're going to immediately start going to eBay and like, listen, I can make $2,000 on this, big card because it's out there by now. And these 3 that were here are all gone, and they were fighting for them. And that's going to make that move happen. Everybody seems to be chasing Zion right now. And if you're trying to chase him, honestly, I think you're too late. You should have been buying them already. You're behind the thing. Doesn't mean you can't make money later, but you're kind of behind the 8 ball already. You're falling behind.
Well, I look forward to, and I mean this in a nice way, I look forward to National being over so we can move forward with the hobby, right? Because we didn't have it last year, so there's a lot of pent up, anger about we didn't have one, and then there was a lot of anger or concern about, are we going to have one? Okay, let's move on though, because I look forward to just getting back to regular releases, regular products. In fact, another thing I'm looking forward to more than the national personally is the industry day in September, because they give you more insight into production.
So is that what that is? That's more of the nuts and bolts of a company basically, and what's going to be happening.
My understanding is so I've never attended, but it's hosted by Beckett. And one of the big things, they pull breakers together and they like a breaker award, right, at the industry day. But they also pull in the manufacturers, like Topps will come in, Panini comes in, Upper Deck. They talk about what's coming down the line. And it's going to be really interesting now that Beckett bought Southern Hobby as well, because it's a distributor to them. So it'll be interesting to see that changes. But I always get great insight from the industry day. And I also think we're going to see a lot of big regional shows. Like you got the big one in September down there in Tampa, right?
And what's funny is I don't even know what that is. I was looking that up. I forgot what something con is what they came up with. But it sounds like not just sports cards. It sounds like a mix of stuff. We have Tampa Comic Con going on the same time the National is going on. That's kind of the big thing here. And there was something else going on this weekend too here. I mean, we have so many different events down here constantly. Like the big fishing expo just happened this past weekend in Orlando called ICAST, which is the largest fishing show in the world, where all the manufacturers come together. And they show all their product coming out within the next 12 months. So you're getting a sneak peek of something you won't see in a store until January next year.
That's awesome.
Or a reel or a rod or some line or something crazy. And they have these big awards. They literally treat this like a party. I mean, they party hard, those guys. But they have a lot of fun, and everybody gets along really well, even with intertwining manufacturers. It's just interesting to see how that, but I've noticed a lot of that in the card market too, with these type of events and how they're ran, and how there is a lot of camaraderie. There's not a lot of hatred. There's not a lot of banter back and forth with a lot of the bigger names or anything. They're not trying to run each other over all the time. But I might notice something different after this week.
It's funny you say that, because again, some of my friends will tell me back in the day, and I'm saying like 5 years ago, at some of these events, the breakers did not like each other. And I'm not going to use names, but they did not. Now today they're a lot tighter, right? Because here's the reality. Back 5 or 6 years ago, it was kind of a fight for territory, right? Mm-hmm. after the territory was defined and the allocations were set and the businesses were set, they've kind of become friendly with each other. But, like a Leighton, Jaspy, Mojo Bakes, Platinum, they're all cooperative competing. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. So, I'm trying to remember. There was a guy that was breaking. He was breaking back in 2007 is when he started breaking on YouTube. And I remember it because he was breaking the Bowman Chrome, the 2009, where the Trout comes out of, and he pulled the orange Trout Auto out of one of the boxes he was breaking. And I still go back and watch that video every once in a while because it's still on YouTube.
Yeah,
and it's not labeled. It's not labeled Mike Trout.
Yeah, he's like, who is this guy?
Auto.
Yeah,
he's like, who is this guy? I heard he might be good. I'm like, Jesus Christ, you know how much you're holding right now?
Yeah.
But I mean, at the time, it wasn't even. I mean, it was probably less than $100 card, or even less than that. It's just funny when you can actually go back and see something like that and be like, today would be like jumping up and down, camera shaking, running around the room type stuff. But back then it was like, here's another card, it's orange, maybe not be
one
the
of
guy.
My favorite videos. I have a personal video of my son at the time. I think he's 6 years old, and he's opening up Prism packs from 2013, and he's reading them out, and he sees rookie from the Bucks because he can't pronounce Giannis Antetokounmpo, and then he throws it down.
Well, that's not usually a name you're gonna take too much success with unless you really do something with it. So
yeah, right.
You know what I mean. But how's the chat doing? I know when we get start talking, I don't have the chat.
I was just saying, I feel bad because
anything.
I'm terrible at monitoring both. So I do see chat is talking. There's a lot of cool things going on, talking amongst themselves. Let me find a spot to poke in here, and we'll check out some chats here. And again, I apologize, guys. If you have any questions, feel free to throw them up. If you're joining the national and you want to meet up with Michael, let him know.
I'll be there. You see me, say hi. I'd love to meet new people.
Trigger, move out to, okay, something about moving. We should probably be a hobby main source income 90%. I think this is a side conversation. Do all these card flippers lodge taxes? No. No.
98.9% do not. Cash is king for a reason.
Yeah. It's interesting. It's one area where I got to think the IRS has got to be, like, I thought this years ago, just in the Facebook group, like, God, if they only knew, like, here's one thing. When we talk about the comps going on eBay and the data tools, in my opinion, that's the tip of the iceberg because more sales take place privately in Facebook groups than anywhere else, in my opinion. And I'm sure
it's everywhere, though. I mean, I have a little bit of background, yard sailing. Half those guys that are retired, they yard sale. They buy stuff there, and then they go and flip it at the flea market on Sunday. Yeah. There's no Venmo or PayPal. It's all cash. Nobody knows anything they're going on, but that's what they do. There's always ways around it. Just how big of something you're moving is going to be the problem.
Trying to find some questions or some good comments here. Looks like I'm in some middle conversations.
Yeah, I was pulling the chat up here where I can see what's going on too. Now, whenever PSA decides to start actually taking cards again, I think the market's going to pick back up. I think the halt of all the grading to flipping is what really made the market stagnant. Because everybody's got cards that were worth a bunch of money, and they haven't gotten back from PSA. They've now gone down, so they couldn't do anything. It's like their cards are literally being held hostage, and you're just waiting. And then, like I said, I've never graded a card, but what I've seen just in that time of this craze, it's definitely gotten harder on grading. And I think it got harder on grading because you have these new people in there.
Yeah.
They're trying to be, especially for 10s. They're like, better be all sharp corners. Better be perfect thing. It's like now it really needs to be perfect. When before it didn't really need to be perfect.
Because it was an old wizard. It was an old wizard. It's like, it looks like a 10 to me. But now you got these new wizards, right?
Yeah. And then they got to impress the old wizard too.
That's right.
Look what I saw.
I have had this epiphany, and that is what I realize. Grading has nothing to do with grades. It's all about the brand. Right. And what I mean by that,
but see, Beckett was the guy forever. BGS. If you go look at a lot of these big cards, they're in BGS slabs. They're there for a reason.
I know.
All right. But so why do people think BGS all of a sudden just stopped grading cards? Well, I don't get that. I don't know how you don't like knowing subgrades.
So
I agree. That's the thing that drives me crazy about PSA. Even I know SGC will do it, but it's still not the same. I still think honestly Beckett's the best grading service because it gives you detailed information. Getting more bang for your buck.
I agree. I think Beckett's I also think the other thing I love about Beckett, Again, I'm not even taking the grade. I don't care about the grading because to me, they're all magic wizards. But they put the damn card in a sealed envelope so it's waterproof in the case. It's the best protected case.
If and you know what's funny is I was thinking about doing a video on that too. We're taking a bunch of really crappy cards in the case because I'm not going to buy an expensive card and drop it in a pool. But I want to see how deep they can go before they either take on water or crack.
Somebody did that in a video. I think it was Scotty B.
But he didn't try to see how bulletproof they are.
Well, he didn't. He did like a water test, a fire test. He did some weird stuff to them.
Okay,
like he did burn them. But again, it's funny. Just in general, Beckett has the best slab. They have a great name. They have a great brand, and they have the subgrades. So you're right. But my point is, between Beckett and PSA, you're buying the brand. You're buying Pepsi or Coke, right? We know that it's all sugar water, but we're buying brand. So,
and I still think that a card company needs to tell us how they grade a card. Like if there's a slight surface scratch on it and it's 2 millimeters long, does that automatically make it a 9 or does it still stay a 10? If the scratch is an inch, does that make it an 8? At what level do you create a number? I would like to know the grading scale because I think less people would send bad cards in. And they would have less things to grade at that level because people are going to be like, well, it's not going to grade at 9. I better keep it raw.
Well,
because if it's an 8, it sells under raw.
I think you asked that to Jeremy on Hobby Hotline, right?
I did at one point. It just kind of, it's just
because he was interviewing Nat that night, and I thought that was a great question. He didn't ask that, but again, you're right. It's simply asked, and what the answer is they'll say, well, they put the list of what a PSA 10 is and a 9, but they should have a video that says these are things you should look for. You know,
I just think they're fearful of people are going to say, well, that's all you do, that's it.
Yeah.
But the whole point, you're paying for a third party, and you're paying for a trusted opinion on your card, because I honestly think a lot of PSA 9s don't look any different than a PSA 10.
I agree.
And I don't see how the market value changes as much as it does from a 10 to a 9, other than people looking at a pop count.
Well, here's what also makes
pop counts are misleading because everybody has a pop count. You can't just say PSA pop 1. Well, what if Beckett's graded 3, SGC's graded 3?
They're also, the pop counts are bad because we crack cards. We know that. But here's what drives me crazy. You just said that 9s and 10s look a lot alike. But here's what we just proved last week is 10s and 10s look a lot alike. There's a difference there, right? Because that one Jordan goes for 800,000 because it's got a sticker that says it's one of the best ones. Think about how stupid this is. That someone will pay $500,000 more for a slab and a grade that has a sticker on. I mean, I don't understand that. When
Jeremy talks about the eye appeal on a card, it may be an SGC 5 of a vintage card, but the centering's horrible, and he knows he can get an SGC 5 or 4 with way better centering and better eye appeal, and he's willing to take the other defect because what's important is the way the card looks at the end of the day for all of us. We want a nice-looking card. You know, that's why you get the OC thing. I hate the OC thing. Just grade it how it sits. Who cares about the OC? You can tell it's off-center.
I don't need you to put OC on there. I don't think centering should be part of the grade unless it's crooked. Because centering
I think it should be part of the grade because it's like the frame of a picture.
I understand. I'm saying, but for me, it's something that as the collector can't control. We have no control over the centering. We can control the colors.
But a 10 shouldn't be popping out of every pack either. That's fair. That's what the glory is of all this. Yeah. That's the manipulation behind grading and what makes things valuable. I have a better version of the same card than you do, and it's now been proven. That's what grading is.
Another quick point. That's all it is. This whole PSA 10 Jordan has also proved what I've been arguing for a long time, that anybody who uses market cap when talking about cards is full of shit. Because you're going to now tell me that every PSA 10 is worth $840,000? No. And I'll give you a perfect example. If you go listen to my friends at Card Ladder who use market all the time, they'll sit there and tell you that that's different. That it's a different PSA 10. So then I'd ask you, Card Ladder friends, why do you keep the market cap bullshit up? Because we know the market cap of Jordans is not all the same. Right?
They're not, but it's also always going to be based on who's buying at that time too. It's the same thing as an eBay auction. PWCC could have the same card listed 3 times.
I know, but
2 of the 3 outsell the third one by 10 or 15%. It's because the guys that were interested got their card, and the other guy is just that leftover guy, and he ends up with it with the discount.
Well, the market cap down to who's buying. In an argument for buying cards is just shady. You don't look at a market cap of a card. Right? Also, here's another thing.
It's something you're doing with stocks. You're always taking something.
These are not stocks. These are not stocks. And
a card's a piece of stock.
But no, it's not. Here's why I say that. Stocks are really non-fungible. I mean, are fungible. In other words, one stock is just like the other stock. They're all the same.
The stock
We
used
know
to be
cards
a
are
piece
not.
of paper
Cards
that
are
was
not
actually valuable. We just gone away from it over time. You know, a stock back then, you had physical paper product for stock.
I know, but again,
we digitized that over time.
But a stock is, again, it's fungible in the sense that it's the same thing. It can be repeated. Cards are not, right? Because we know one card could be an 8, a 9, or 10. That's why, in my opinion, I understand people want to call sports cards a marketplace. They want to call it an investment. I don't agree with all of that, right? I'll put it this way. A rich man buying a yacht for $5 million can tell his friends it's an investment. We all know buying a boat is a waste of fucking money.
Right? Got another $1,000. It's a appreciating asset.
Yeah, the same rich man can buy a Mickey Mantle for $5 million.
Now, what's funny is
the last investment, or is it just another toy like his yacht?
The last 2 years, with the whole way the card market's been, it's been like that with cars and boats. And I'll give you an example because my buddy owns a car dealership. He also owns a nice boat. His boat is worth more than he bought it for. Okay, he's had this boat for 5 years. It's worth more than he bought it for today because you can't go buy one because there's none manufactured.
Okay.
Cars, you're running out of chips. You're going to run into a gap here where you can't get a new car, but you can buy a used car, and that's why all these car companies are being like, "Yeah, we'll take your trade. Take a new car. We need the trade." They want the used car more than they want the new car.
Good point.
You know, that's just where we're at. So in the last 2 years, yes, that has flipped. There's a completely different tangible relationship to things than there never used to be. Now, how long that lasts? I mean, it's probably going to last through 2022 until we get back to some other type of format or something really changes.
I agree. I also think that I think there could be some bigger changes as we progress in 2022. I got a quick question here. Well, how soon after the National do you think the big card grading companies will lower prices? I don't know. I think that you'll see every month PSA will open up another level, but I don't think you'll be.
I don't think you see anything actually happen until November or December if you're lucky. PSA has done the most at getting the most amount of new staff involved and growing. And we're still waiting for that staff to catch up to grading because I'm sure they're just not letting them grade. They might let them slab cards, but they're not going to let them grade them yet because there is kind of like a hierarchy to the process. I don't think they just hire you, throw you in a chair, and say, guess what? You're grading cards today. I don't think that's the process for any of these places. But PSA has done the most in hiring and the most in trying to expand the quickest. They're going to run into another problem with the plastics again. All right, because I don't know if you've been to a Walmart or a Target recently.
Yep, plastics
bottled waters, Gatorade, sodas. There's not a whole lot of them stocked right now. It's because there's a bottle shortage because of plastic. Okay, plastic makes slabs. You're going to have another problem. All right, it's going to happen again if they're already not doing it now and just masking it by saying, hey, we're going to raise rates. We're not really taking cards. We can do this at a slower level because the production to get those slabs is coming in as about as fast as we can grade them. So that's kind of why they also might have pulled this back. They're just not letting you know about it.
That's a good point. Very good point.
You know, top loaders are up in price. Penny sleeves are up in price. I mean, it just seems like a general consensus.
This shit's lasting longer than we thought it was too. When you think back to, March of 2020, and now here we are in July of 2021.
Well, how many months did most places shut down for roughly? Probably 3 months, maybe max. 3 months.
3 to 4.
So this shows you what 3 months of no production can cause a ripple effect for a year, 2 years later, maybe longer. This is showing you what that effect really is. And it's made other people think about how they do things now.
If we're out of plastic, just harvest it from the freaking ocean.
Listen, they're trying to pull gold from the ocean. Once they start doing that, we won't have any water. So.
Well, man, we've talked a little bit longer than I normally go. I'll see if there's any questions from the audience. If anybody's got any questions. I saw Steve in there earlier. I want to say shout out to Steve. I see Cards and Comics out there. Kevin G, Brett. Guys, thanks for being here tonight, man. I really appreciate it. I don't know. I really appreciate it, Mike. Thanks for jumping on board. Thanks for being here, man. I look forward to hearing from you this week. So, keep us posted.
I'm going to try and put stuff out if I can, as quick as I can. Like I said, I got to see where I'm at Wednesday night because I know the guys are going to be there Wednesday setting up and everything since they have a booth. I don't have VIP access, so I can't get in Wednesday night. If anybody has a VIP pass that they can't use or they're leaving or can't make it, hit me up and let me know. Otherwise, I'm just buying a ticket every day to go in, like Joe Schmo, and just going to hang out. I saw they had Emmitt Smith autographing stuff, Barry Sanders, Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair.
Yeah, there's some cool people there. There really are.
I mean, so it should be
Are you
very
gonna do
interesting.
that?
Well, I mean, if I don't have a VIP pass and I can't get there early, I'm not going to waste all my
Okay.
time in line while I'm at
Yeah.
a show like that.
I'm also curious how much they charge for the autographs. Is each player different?
From what I told, a VIP pass gives you 11 autographs or something
Really?
like that. Like, I think it's roped into the VIP pass. Like, if you have a VIP pass, you can go stand in line. Okay, that's just how it works, because they take that number or whatever off there and state that you got an autograph.
Definitely, I'd love to hear more about that.
I think
will tell you what, I'm looking forward to next year.
Steve would probably know more about that than I would, because I mean, he bought a couple passes, so he would have that insight on that. I know he's a little more homework than like I do, but I'm just learning about that. Hulk Hogan, I can go get in Clearwater. He's at his little beach bar hangout all the time, where he has his own food at Hogan's, and it's right over there on the beach. So if I really want it, I can go see him in person anytime I want.
Awesome.
But Barry Sanders is one of those guys I'd really like to meet and get an autograph from. That's to me the best running back to ever play football.
Yeah, in fact, I'm thinking to myself, next year they'll probably have a lot of amateur athletes there too.
They were
Right.
saying they're going to have Steve would know too, darn it. Not Ronaldo, but
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Some young
Yeah.
soccer player. Yeah,
Rowan. It's like Ronaldo, but I don't know how to say any names.
I
like
know
that.
what you're talking about. I don't know his name. I don't know his name.
But that'd be crazy if they had an international soccer player come over for this. That would be a big deal.
VIP comes with 12 selected auto tickets.
There you go. So
Thanks, Steve. Yeah, thank you, sir.
So that's kind of how that works.
And here's the guy.
There you go. You say it.
Yeah, exactly. That dude right there, Ronaldinho. I don't.
Whoa, careful, buddy! You can get messed up on YouTube. They're going to start saying hoes out there.
Well, man, thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. Mr. Wonderful, good to see you. Wish I could go to the National. So many high-end cards I'd like to sell. You have a great collection, Mr. Wonderful. You do. Guys, thanks again, Mike. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back live tomorrow morning, man, and every day we can this week. Looking
That's
forward
right.
to
All
the
right,
National
guys.
Stories, man.
Thanks, Ziggy.
Thank you.